Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Monday, it's September the 23rd. It's been another pretty good trading day. We had another nice little down channel. I saw this as a spiking channel, and notice how prices spiked down, and then they went into this channel. And just to explain this to anybody that's kind of new, generally what, at least my theory on what causes these is this sell-off is too strong here, and prices, generally a good strong, a good, not strong, a good healthy trend is about a 45-degree angle, whether it's up or down, and that's where you'll see most of your best trends. If it's steeper than that, it's too steep and it's probably not going to last that steep that long. And if it's not any steeper than that, it's probably not very healthy and it's probably not going to last and it's going to reverse. So generally your best trends that you can, or the most reliable ones, are about a 45-degree angle like this. And so what happens is prices spike down and then reality comes back and it just becomes a more of a normal downtrend. And then we got the reversal, and so far we're heading up here. And it may just turn out to be and there might even be, I hadn't put this up here yet because prices weren't getting there while I was trading, but we probably, well, you see we've already reached that. We found a little resistance, but we've gotten through it. There might even be another line up here. But I saw this as a spiking channel with a little median line through here, and it did seem to fit really well. And so I like the way I saw it. There's also a short-term trend here, a little two-legged correction, then another short-term trend, and then we kind of reversed out of here. And will we get a retest here? I don't know. We haven't even really retested this line. Um, so there could be some other options. I got my lines off these lows. That's where we kept bouncing right through here. And you can see we bounced later when we came here. And I drug it up to the top, and it took a little while to get up there. But that's really what I saw. And we'll talk about each trade and go from there. But let me back out here a little bit so it's better seeing. And I really saw this first, if you measure this first move, there's your first leg. And then so we're looking kind of for a measured move down. You can see we overshot that a little bit, and then we reversed. So this was what I was looking for target on any runners you might have had. If you're trying to hold runners, for a longer period of time, that's generally what I use to try to determine when or where to exit, or I exit on the other side of the trend channel. So if I'm going short here, I exit when we get to touch the other side. Here as example, I probably would have exited right in there. Here I probably would have exited right in, well, actually we didn't quite touch, but that's close enough, or then again right there. So that's how I like to do it. You don't have to exit there. You can hold these things as long as you want. If you're more of a swing type trader, you probably want to continue to hold and give your trades a little more room. But if you're like me and you'd rather exit with your money and then look to re-enter on another swing, which is the way I like to do it. I'm just not comfortable holding trades and seeing my money in my little account and only to watch it evaporate and go out and turn into a losing trade. So I exit and I just wait for another entry. And that way you don't get fooled. I can't tell you. And the reason I like to do it that way is think back to your own trading. How many times have you gotten in a trade, had a good movement, have a nice profit, only to watch it turn around and take it all back and end up with a losing trade? That used to happen to me a lot, and I just got tired of that. So I started trying to come up with better ways to keep the money that I had without forfeiting the opportunity to make more money. So I came up with a scalp and run. And even then, I still exit my runners probably too quickly a lot of times, but that's because I don't want to give that money back, and I'll look to find another entry later on. I'm pretty good at picking out the entries, so I like to exit and re-enter. Some people that have a hard time getting the entries right, but are pretty good at staying with the trend, then maybe you would prefer to not enter and exit so much, but find you a good entry and then stay with and set your stop and stay with the move and try to get as much of it as you can. So a lot of it depends on personality. I tell people that that to be a really good trader, you have to do things that you're comfortable with. And if you're not comfortable scalping, then you're probably going to want to try to hang on to trades longer and just use our techniques to find the entries. Now, if you're not comfortable with staying in a trade a long time, then you're probably going to like the scalping technique. So find what makes you comfortable and use that for your trading. So, but let's talk about the trades real quick and then we'll wrap it up for today. The first trade I really saw, there was really a long here. I meant to circle that one in green and I forgot to do that. Let's just go ahead and circle it real quick. Because there is a possible long here. It's a little bit, I mean, it's really aggressive, but as you can see, if you had your line coming off down through there, we bounced off of it multiple times, and that's a failed second entry short basically right there. It really doesn't fail, but because it can't go any lower, you can treat it the same way. And so you could have gone short here as well if you saw that trade. So let me go ahead and circle that one too, since I'm at it. Last few days I've been coming in a little later. I haven't been starting as early. So I didn't see some of these trades. I wasn't here yet. So that's a nice failed second entry long trap, a second entry short. It worked. It was a little, I even thought this one was a little risky looking back at it because you're so close to these lows where you failed. But these traps, you can't argue with them. And then this is close enough to being a failure, even though it would have been a good for a scalp. And you never really tested this breakout area up here. Look at all this support across here, and that's why that line's there. And this is just like two attempts to retest that breakout area and then turns down. So a great second entry short here. You try to go higher once and you try to go higher twice. Another failed second entry short is two retests of this breakout area in here. Nice bearish bar. When it broke higher first, you could actually have your stop sitting there waiting. It took a little bit to work on through. Then you get another, because this is kind of a double top, you could treat this as a new high. Actually, you did have a new high here, but a first entry pullback and then a second entry that fails. So a chance to get short right there on another trap when the trend is down, and that's very bearish, so you're likely to get another leg like that. And then you could treat this as a double top, so this could be your new entry, a first entry, a second entry, it fails. I like that reversal bar. Once it got hung up in this, you might have let them shake you out of this with a tick or so, but if you didn't, it continued to go lower. And then you get like a little breakout pullback short right here, and again you got it like a little double top right here, so you could count that as another failed second entry short. But the main thing is you got this little short-term trend line here, and you got a reversal off of it. Probably want to use a limit order there because it didn't close on its low. It's a little bit of overlap there, but it's a nice opportunity to get short, and it just goes lower again. You really got another little breakout pullback short here, but it's getting a little risky right here because you're getting close to this line right here. There's not a whole lot of room there, and it didn't really make it down there, and then it reverses. But then you get a second entry short here, and this is not a great second entry short. Notice this. First entry, and then it pulls back. It doesn't really go higher, but you get those matching lows, and that's the same thing as a second entry short. Good for just a scalp, and then it bounces again. And by that time, I didn't really like taking this first entry short. You're better off to wait on a second entry, which didn't come till here. And again, it took it a minute to get rolling, but then it's off to the races. And this is like a new swing high here. First entry, pull back, second entry. So that's like a failed second entry long. Another easy scalp, and by that time, and plus you're looking for your target down here, and you're looking for prices to probably hit this line, and by that time you're overdone. And so taking any more trades at that point is a little more suspect. And this is a first entry. Notice there's a new low there, first entry short. It's not a great signal bar. It would have worked, but I didn't see any more reasons to be going long there after touching this lower side, because generally after you touch the lower side, you're going back to the upper side, which happened right here. And that's why I like this long, even though there's not really a break of this trend line right here. You got to figure we're going there, and you got a failed second entry short right here that definitely probably trapped a lot of shorts, and then it turns up, and there's plenty of room to scalp out. And then you get another bounce off this trend line, which you could have found it off these highs right here, and then you come back and it bounces. at first I was looking for a possible trap to the upside, but when this turned down here and failed, and you got this big bullish bar, and you could use a limit order to enter at the top, or you could just, when it broke out the top, you really could consider entering right there. But it's usually better to wait and see how bullish that bar is, and then, but it's a failed second entry short there that gives you a chance to go higher, and you see we went much higher. We're still in this trend channel. Now we've kind of broken below it, so will we get a retest of these lows? I don't know. This maybe just be like a trading range day. But you generally can't argue with these traps, and generally they're counter trend traps. So even though the overall trend was down, notice how we're trending higher here when this one sets up a short trap and it goes higher. I even liked it right here, especially if you saw this median line, because it's like a retest of that, and it just, from there it went higher. So that was an easy scalp. This one's a little more risky. Maybe I should have drawn this one in green, because you do have this trend line here if you're seeing it the way I'm seeing it, and it may turn out that there's a different way to look at this, that I haven't played with the lines a whole lot since then. It might even be more like that right there, because that catches your closes, and notice it caught that one there, and then now we get a couple of closes on the outside of that line, so that would have been another clue to go think about going long there. If nothing else, just for a scalp. You're not necessarily, when you're taking these trades right here like this one, the idea is just probably scalp out. When you're taking these kind of trades, you're just thinking, hey, this is a trap, so I'm thinking at least the scalp, maybe nothing more than that. So that's when I like to just exit with, just exit my entire scalp in full right there. So hopefully all that makes sense to you. That's what I saw today. Even if you didn't see the bigger channel, these are pretty clear. And generally when you get two, even this is like a little two-legged correction here, and that might have tempted you to go short right there. I just didn't like that with all the overlap and the fact that we were finding some support here. So I thought it was better to wait on the second entry. And even then, it took a few minutes to get going, but that's generally typical of what you'll encounter. But we continue to trend down after we made those nice highs, and you can see that. And if you come out here and look, there's probably a bigger channel somewhere in here. Let's just look and see. I believe that's how we originally had that one. And people ask me about trading off of these. You can, but I don't like to look this far out. Because you're apt to get burned on them. So if you take a measured move, it's probably like that right there, but we even went lower than that. So but you can use these same lines on the bigger picture. You can go to a daily chart, you can go to a weekly chart, whatever, and you can find the same things. And if you took the heading off of the chart up here, which you see, this is a 2,000 tick chart. If you took that heading off, you couldn't tell a daily chart from a 2,000 tick chart or a 5-minute chart. They all look the same. And so price action works the same on all of them. I get that question a lot, and I get a question a lot about what size chart we trade. You may not be able to see it in the video, it may be too small, but you can see right here, this is the December 13th contract, 2,000 tick, and you can see my tick counter right here. Here's your times that all the trades are occurring, and I'm on Central Time, so if you want to compare your trades to mine, the times may be slightly different, but I'm on Central Standard Time. So that should help you narrow down the times. If you're trading Pacific Time, then you're probably 2 hours behind me. So, my 9:55 trade that's set up right in here on my chart would be around 7:55 your time. So, you can do the math. You don't have to be a genius to be able to figure those things out. But sometimes I realize it's hard to see this stuff on, depending on how big a screen you got and maybe how good your screen is and so forth, because I know it's easy to see for me right here, but when you get to looking at it on video, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to see. So I thought I would point those things out to you. But I'm going to wrap it up, call it a day. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.